All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here. And we got my man, Ben Shapiro, back in the building talking about pro-choice. I'm sure this is going to be a doozy. Stay till the end if you want to hear my input and perspective. Let's get it popping.
How do you defend your opinion as a white, well-off, religious man? How do you defend your, telling a woman what she can do with her body?
Because evil things are still evil, even if I'm a white, well-off, religious man. And good things are still good, even if I'm a white, well-off, religious man. This is one of these identity politics points that I really, I don't mean to come down harshly on you, I don't. But it is a point that I really have serious moral qualms with. I think it's quite terrible. The reason being that the people who were fighting against enslavement of black people were a bunch of well-off white men, for the most part. Right? And those people were saying, this is a moral sin. This is a moral blot. They weren't living in the South. They didn't own plantations. They didn't live the lives of the plantation owners. They said, this is evil, and we are here to stop it. Right? When you see something that you think is morally wrong happening, especially when you're talking about the taking of a human life, like, listen, I think that you shouldn't go around randomly killing homeless people. I just have this view. I'm not a homeless person. Most of the people who randomly kill homeless people are probably not of my economic strata, my religious view, or my, I don't know whether they're of my skin color or not. I have no idea what the actual sociological breakdown of homeless killer serial murderers is, but I would suggest that my identity has nothing to do with what is right or wrong. And this is what Western civilization used to be about. Western civilization used to be about the idea that, yes, I'm not a woman in the healthcare field, but you and I can have a conversation about what's right and wrong because this is the nature of human reason. The nature of human reason, the nature of right and wrong, is that you and I can talk about what's right and wrong and that I don't retreat into my identity. If we can all retreat into our identity and our morality is now centered around that identity, morality doesn't exist at all. We break down into a society of fragmented atoms where I can't even say, like, you're torturing a puppy in your backyard. I have nothing to say about that. I'm not a white woman who's in the healthcare field. I'm not going to do that. I refuse to surrender the idea that I can have a moral stance on issues that are of concern to society and of concern to the well-being of the United States simply because of the color of my skin or the nature of my genitalia. And honestly, I believe any view that feels differently is sexist, racist, and bigoted.
So I have an issue with your stance on abortion.
Okay.
Right. So you define life as starting at conception through biology, pretty much.
It does.
But I think you take the stance that life is intrinsically valuable because it's life. And that's where I disagree. I think there's two things that make life valuable. I think consciousness, the ability to experience pain, senses, and stuff like that, and personal identity. In particular, psychological continuity identity. So the fact that we have memories, we have relationships, people have relationships to us. I think those are
Do you need both of those, or is it neither or? I just want to clarify your position.
Either or.
Okay, so if it's either or, then people with Alzheimer's have real continuity problems. You can't kill them.
No, because people still have relationships with them, though, right? So, like, just because you have,
I mean, you have a relationship with them, but with people with advanced stage Alzheimer's, they really don't have a relationship.
Okay, but for the single example, like, let's say someone dies, right? The family gets to decide what you do with the body. Because I know what you say. When you say, someone says, oh, it's just consciousness, and then they're brain dead, you say, well, can you stab them? No, you can't. Because that's the family's decision what to do with the body. It's the person's decision what they want to do.
So if the family decides to stab them, it's okay to stab the
when they're brain dead? Yeah, if they want to
No, not brain dead. Let's say that you're comatose for a specifically and predictably short period of time, say 9 months.
Say now, well, what is the person? No. So I would say on the legal grounds, it would depend if what the person put in their will. If the person has made clear statements like, hey, don't pull the plug on 9 months, then don't do that. Because I think the first choice is...
Right, but let's say the person has not made such clear statements. Say the person can't make such clear statements.
So and he's just in a complete coma?
Let's say the person has not drawn up a living will or had conversations like this. They're in a car crash, they get in a coma, you know that in 9 months they're going to come out of the coma, and they're going to be fine. Are you allowed to stab? Can the family say, you know what, these 9 months, stab the dude.
Wait, so they're fine, so they're going to get their memories back?
Let's say they don't get their memories back.
Then I would say then that person is dead. And yeah, if the family wants to pull the plug, that's fine. I would have no problem with that. No, I would have no problem with that. Because that person is
You're getting into some dicey territory, dude.
No, I think that person is dead. Right? And that's the best way to define life is personal identity and consciousness. That's what makes life valuable.
Right, so I think that, again, if you were to say both, that's too much. And if you were even to say either, I don't think either one of those legs stands on its own. Okay, because what you really mean, this is the thing about having a baby. It's a process of development. Right? And this is the point that I'm making. There's a period in this human life when that child does not have, or fetus or embryo, whatever you want to call it, when this living thing does not have consciousness and does not have a sense of identity. But in 9 months, it will have consciousness.
Well,
and even then, by the way, babies don't have a sense of identity for at least a certain number of months after they're born. And when
the babies can recognize their parents' voices after they're born.
That's not a sense of identity. Rats can.
No.
Identify.
I'd say it is because it's a form of memory though, right? And that's what I was using.
So are you a Janist? Because animals also have consciousness.
I would say that killing animals is wrong. You have no problem with that.
So just to get this straight.
Digging himself deep.
Killing Fluffy the hamster, deeply wrong. Killing a dude who's going to wake up from a coma in 9 months with memory problems, totally cool.
When you put it that way, huh?
Okay, I mean.
Just saying.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. You can have that position. I'm just not going to put you in charge of the NHS.
How
can you honestly stand up here and say that you support abortion, you support government intervention, you support government intervention to make abortion illegal, which is designed to kill someone, and yet you can stand up here and say you don't want government intervention for guns, which are also designed to kill people?
Because guns are not designed to kill children. Guns are designed to kill bad guys if operated by a proper person. There's not an abortion in the world that doesn't end with the death of a baby.
Yep. Take that argument into bed.
So
it doesn't stand here.
So honestly,
nonsense.
The reason, I have no problem with looking at the pictures of gun violence victims, other than the problems any other human being, left or right, would have with looking at those pictures, which is that they're horrific and deeply disturbing and very upsetting. But I don't feel any sense of guilt or avoidance. Like, I can't look at this picture because I bear some sort of responsibility for this. It is impossible not to look at a picture of an aborted baby and say this was disconnected from the act that I approve, because the act is the killing of the baby. There's no policy that I approve of that ends with the murder of children. Okay? There is a policy that is designed for the murder of children, which is what abortion is.
Okay, so but if all people, right, you said that once the cells come together, you said those are considered people, which I can understand. I can get behind
I said that's considered a human life.
A human life, right.
Yes.
Why is this human life being killed and another human life being killed by gun violence? Why is that any different?
Again, it's not a matter of the value of the human life being different. It's equally as evil and tragic and horrific and disgusting when people kill fully formed children who are outside the womb. My point is that the act that connects to the killing of the children is not connected to my position on guns. The act that connects to the killing of unborn babies is connected to the legalization of abortion. The reason that I want people to be able to exercise their Second Amendment rights is to shoot pieces of like the people who go into schools and shoot up children. Right? I have 2 kids. They both go to a Jewish school, which means they are on the target list for somebody out there. Right? Jewish schools are disproportionately targeted, unfortunately, in the United States. I went to a Jewish school when I was in high school. There were bomb threats legitimately every couple of months. In 1999, there was a white supremacist who drove by our Jewish day school, saw an armed guard outside, proceeded to drive away, went to the West Valley JCC, and shot up the West Valley JCC. The reason that I'm in favor of gun rights is because I want that armed guard outside carrying the gun to dissuade people from going inside the school and shooting the kid.
The first state to legalize abortion in case of rape or incest was Colorado in 1967. Hawaii followed in 1970. We can reasonably assume that there were abortions before then. So if we went back to a world where abortion was illegal, how would we deal with the black market? What do you think positive or negative consequences would be of an increased amount of illegal abortions? And would we prosecute both the mother and the doctor, or just one? How would we handle it?
So the answer to the question is that there's no major pro-life voice in America who advocates for prosecuting the mother. The reason that people don't advocate for prosecuting the mother is, number one, because it is counterproductive, because your goal is to convince women that they shouldn't abort their babies, not to threaten them with punishment. You want them to make the moral choice. You want to, basically, honey is going to win people over more than vinegar. But beyond that, I think that there is a real problem of mens rea, meaning that when you're talking about intent to commit a crime, you actually have to have an intent to commit the crime. So if I'm going to commit homicide upon you, then I have to know that you are a human being, for example. I think that a lot of women have been made to believe, for wrong reasons, that what they are killing is not actually a human being, and so they lack the requisite mens rea for a homicide charge, even if you were to try and game it out legally. Mostly what people on the pro-life side have talked about is prosecuting abortion doctors who make an actual business out of aborting babies. As to the increase in illegal abortions, I would assume there would be an increase in illegal abortions because all abortions would be illegal. And just logically speaking, anytime you make something illegal that occurs, there will be more illegal instances of that thing happening. And I'm sure that, when slavery was legal, then, it was legal. That didn't make it either moral, decent, or right. Once it was made illegal, then I'm sure that everyone who was holding a slave was in violation of the law. So I guess there were more illegal holdings of slaves after we made slavery illegal. But there was less absolute slavery, which is the actual goal.
Illegally holding a slave
make it more difficult.
Doesn't kill the slave and doesn't possibly kill the mother.
I don't think you want to go down the road where you're justifying slavery. Really.
I'm not justifying slavery. I'm saying that that the fact that something increases when you make it illegal is
the illegal activity the absolute level of the activity decreases, but what's left is going to be illegal just by logical necessity.
When the illegal activity that's left is very, very dangerous, is that a good argument? Do you think that's a good argument or not a good argument?
Yes. If I have to wait, let's say that you make abortion illegal and there are 1 million abortions a year in the United States, and let's say at the high end, there are still 50,000 illegal abortions in the United States, but all the rest go to term. Okay, let's say that that's the case, because it's going to be hard to actually get an abortion if it's made illegal. Let's say there's still 50,000. You just saved 950,000 lives. That is a massive net win, obviously.
But what about in rape and incest situations?
That's the goal.
Okay, so here's the question. It's different, yes. I mean, this is a long conversation. I'm enjoying it, actually, which is why I'm allowing you to stay. But
extreme case. Here we go.
But the question of rape and incest, first of all, important to note, rape and incest are not only a vast minority of abortion cases, they're an extraordinarily low percentage of abortion cases. So if we can first stipulate that all the other abortions are bad, then we can talk about that other one. Can we do that? Are all the other abortions bad, or are those ones okay? And you're just using this as an excuse to make the other ones okay.
They're all okay.
Ah, good. Someone who's honest. So, who's the honest fellow?
False.
Okay, yay,
Evil.
honest people. Good. I like the honesty. Okay, so all abortions are okay. So, a sign that I can't read because it has lots of words on it. Okay, so I have one question for you and one question only on abortion. Does the vagina, the vaginal canal, magically confer personhood? Answer, does the vagina magically confer personhood? Yeah, raised hands are okay. You, sir.
No, the first breath does.
The first breath confers personhood. Okay, so if the baby is in the womb and is exactly the same size and has not yet breathed, and you take a knife and you stab the baby in the head, a fully formed 9-month-old baby, it is not a human. The only thing that makes it a human is when it takes a breath. It has to independently breathe.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to stick to it, yeah, because I'm also pro-capital punishment and pro-selective suicide. So I'm going to stick with it.
Selective suicide? I assume you mean elective suicide.
I mean elective suicide.
Elective suicide. Okay.
Yes, I'm not going to make someone commit suicide.
Okay, that's good, because that wouldn't be suicide, that'd be homicide. That, by the way, I'm for capital punishment too, because people who kill people should be killed, but babies who have not killed people should not. And this is my basic position on abortion. So
innocent life.
But I'll get your answer because you're the one who asked the question. Are you willing to stipulate that all the other abortions are bad? Just rape and incest bother you?
I mean, no, I believe a woman should have the right to move
Got it. So it's an excuse, right? So it's an excuse so that we can say that, so that we can take the marginal case and then say that the marginal case applies to all cases. Okay, that's again faulty thinking. But if you want me to answer specifically on rape and incest, here is my basic answer: rapists should be castrated or killed. You shouldn't kill babies. End of story.
But are they ever castrated and killed? Most rapists don't even get convicted.
I agree, and that's usually the left side of the aisle because the left side wants to let them out after 5 years in prison. I want them castrated or killed. I'm telling you what my belief is. My belief is not public policy at the moment. But I think, would you agree with me on that one? Can we at least get a little agreement to finish this particular parlay? Okay, should rapists be castrated or killed?
Well, yes.
Okay, good, yeah, okay, we agree. Thanks.
I want y'all to take notice of just one thing, and that's that everybody who's for abortion, for pro-choice, has already been given the chance to live. They've already been born because their mother didn't commit that heinous act. They gave them a chance to thrive in this world, to make a way, to grind, whatever you want to label it as. But they take that for granted, and they don't realize that in the case of rape or incest or whatever it may be, you don't have to commit an evil act to address an evil act. It's not an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That baby is innocent. That baby can be the blessing. It is the blessing because God doesn't make mistakes. God allowed that baby to be formed in the womb, no matter how it got there. As evil as rape is, is I agree with Ben that somebody who commits the act of rape or incest, that sort of violent act, should be held accountable. They should be killed if they do something like that as well. I believe that. That may make me wrong, but I'll face that judgment with God someday. I'm willing to face that head on. But when it comes to an innocent baby's life that is formed at conception, you got to give that child a chance to grow. To say a child isn't viable inside the womb is also saying that somebody who's 70 years old who has cancer or who has dementia or whatever they're going through also isn't viable. Are you just going to kill them because they can't take care of themselves? That moral standard just doesn't make sense. The end goal is to make abortions more difficult. I know they're not going to be completely non-existent, because just like guns getting in the hands of illegal criminals, homicidal maniacs, or whoever goes to commit an evil act in the world, like, evil is always going to try to find a way to do evil. So you can put as many laws in place that you want to as far as gun control, as far as abortion. But yeah, there unfortunately still is going to be Satan lurking in people's hearts and taking over and them making the choice to commit horrible acts of crime and violence on this world, but it's going to limit the amount of those. So Ben said you could save like 900,000 extra babies' lives each year. That would be amazing. Just to save an extra one each year would be amazing if abortion isn't allowed. You should never have the option to commit murder. In an option of self-defense, when somebody kills somebody with a gun, that's killing somebody in self-defense. That's not voluntarily committing a murder. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up to me, and I don't see how it's not common sense. And as far as Mr. Shapiro is concerned, I just love how he destroys every argument. It's always fantastic and hilarious to watch, and he's always very unapologetic in his defense of children's lives, because he has his own children. He understands the value of a child's life and the value of another human being in this world that can make a difference in a positive direction. And society needs to realize that fact again. And I don't know what changed up. I think it's when the Bible got taken out of schools, when people started taking truth as a relative thing and not an absolute truth. The fact that, those 10 commandments were blessed to us by God to follow. Thou shalt not commit murder. You shouldn't steal. You shouldn't do any of that sort of nonsense, because it's going to lead down a rocky road. It's going to lead to anxiety, depression, evil, sin. And that's what we see in 2022. A bunch of crazy lunatics changing up everything. And that's why you see people dying left and right and so divided. And it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have your own opinion, but that doesn't mean we have to be divided and wanting to kill and bash and belittle and just, it's crazy to me, man. Yeah, I want to hear y'all thoughts down below, though. It's clear as day to me what the solution is. Abortion shouldn't be allowed. And y'all let me know what you think down below. Let's keep this conversation rolling. If you like today's video, you like this sort of content and the values that I stand on, before you roll out, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date anytime I post a video. You can get some awesome merch made by my lovely wife on her Etsy store, all this sort of Christian apparel. Go check it out for yourself. We got t-shirts, hoodies. You can get bleach, no bleach, or run of different sizes. We got everything you need down below. It'll be linked in the description, as well as other ways to support the channel. I'm forever grateful, and I appreciate y'all just for tuning in. But until next time, keep praying for this world to wake up and value life again, and value the parameters that God set in place, and lift society up instead of trying to tear it down and take away based on convenience or whatever it may be. We need to look in the mirror and realize that human beings are the most valuable thing in this world. We are God's beautiful masterpiece, created in his image for a reason: to serve, to love, to lift each other up, and to love God. We need to get back to that. But until next time, I'm praying for y'all. I love y'all. Godspeed. I'm gone.